The Dance of the Dragon is often framed as a tragedy of fate. We watch it knowing that dragons will go extinct, that the Targaryen dynasty will fracture, and that the crown will eventually pass to the broken survivors. But Season 3 proves something far more unsettling. This war wasn't inevitable because of fate, it was inevitable because of choices. Every major crisis of Season 3 was preceded by a specific moment where peace, or at least survival, was sitting on a silver platter, and the leaders of Westeros actively chose to knock it off the table. Today, we aren't doing a simple plot recap, we're doing an autopsy. We're digging deep into the psychological dominoes of Season 3, from Rhaenyra's messianic complex and Daemon's fatal obsession, to the rise of the dragon seeds, Alicent's tragic irrelevance, and Helena's final horrifying prophetic thread. What led to what could have been avoided, and how did a war fought for absolute power end up stripping power from everyone who sought it? Let's start at the center of the storm, Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen. Season 3 marked a massive shift in Rhaenyra's characterization. In early seasons, she fought for her birthright out of duty and personal ambition. But by Season 3, fed by Aegon the Conqueror's prophecy and her survival of the sowing of the seeds, Rhaenyra bought into a dangerous idea that she is God's chosen instrument, and that messianic delusion became her greatest tactical flaw. When you believe your cause is divinely ordained, every compromise looks like treason. Look at how she treated her council this season. Instead of listening to the military strategy of Corlys Velaryon or the tactical realities of land warfare, she treated her reign as a holy crusade. This directly caused her biggest mistake of the entire series, trusting the dragon seeds without a contingency plan. Opening Dragonstone to lowborn scaring Targaryen blood was a stroke of desperation that worked briefly. But Rhaenyra made a fatal assumption. She assumed that possessing a dragon would automatically instill Targaryen loyalty and loyal reverence. She treated Ulf the White and Hugh the Hammer not as volatile human beings with personal trauma and greed, but as mere vessels for her divine war. By failing to integrate them, pay them, or give them a real stake in her future government, she treated two men holding the medieval equivalent of nuclear weapons like ungrateful peasants. The moment Otto Hightower offered Ulf a title and respect, the entire illusion shattered. Rhaenyra didn't lose the dragon balance because Team Green was smarter. She lost it because her own arrogance made her blind to human nature. While Rhaenyra was playing God on Dragonstone, Daemon Targaryen spent 3 seasons unraveling in the haunting corridors of Harrenhal. Daemon's arc this season was a psychological masterclass in self-destruction. For 2 reasons, Daemon believed he was the true dragon, the warrior king who should be leading the realm, but Harrenhal, mediated by the enigmatic witch Alice Rivers, stripped away his ego piece by piece. Alice Rivers served as the mirror Daemon refused to look into. Through her weirwood potions and psychological manipulation, she forced Daemon to face his deepest insecurity, that he was never meant to be the king, only the enforcer. His visions weren't just random nightmares, they were the river of history, forcing him to accept his role in the bigger picture, culminating in his acceptance of Aegon's prophecy. Where did this lead, though? It led to the tragic irony of Daemon's character. The moment Daemon finally surrendered his pride and knelt fully to Rhaenyra, he locked himself into a tragic path. His realization that his life was just a stepping stone for the Song of Ice and Fire meant that he no longer cared about his own survival. It set the stage directly for his eventual apocalyptic confrontation with Aemond at the God's Eye. Daemon's choice to accept his fate didn't save the realm, it simply guaranteed his own suicide mission. Let's talk about Ulf the White and Hugh Hammer, because Season 3 handled the concept of class warfare in Westeros brilliantly and tragically. In standard fantasy, giving a poor man a magical beast makes him a hero. In George R. R. Martin's world, giving a traumatized, uneducated blacksmith or a tavern-dwelling drunkard hurt a dragon turns them into a monster. Hugh Hammer started as a sympathetic figure, a blacksmith watching his daughter suffer in a starving capital. But when he claimed Vermithor, the Bronze Fury, the absolute power poisoned him instantly. Hugh realized that in a world built on feudalism, the only difference between a noble and a peasant is force, and he had the most force in the room. Then you have Ulf. Ulf never wanted to be a hero. He wanted food, wine, and respect. When he rode Silverwing, he expected Team Black to treat him like a god. Instead, Daemon and the Black Council treated him like a dog who got lucky. This is the central theme of Season 3. Injustice breeds treason. If Rhaenyra or her council had treated Ulf and Hugh as critical political allies rather than dangerous tools, the first Battle of Tumbleton never happens. The betrayal at Tumbleton wasn't just a military shift. It was the moment the common folk realized that the Highborns were fragile, and the Highborns realized that dragon magic couldn't buy loyalty. On Team Green, Season 3 was an exploration of irrelevance and toxic legacy. Look at Alicent Hightower. Alicent spent her entire life sacrificing her youth, her desires, and her morals to put her sons on the throne, and what did it buy her in Season 3? Complete isolation. Aemon stripped her of her seat on the council, ruling with pure intimidation and rage, while Aegon was left broken in body and spirit. Alicent realized too late that she didn't build a dynasty, she built a meat grinder. Her tragedy is that she survived her own political usefulness. Every move she made in Season 3, including her secret meetings and attempts to salvage peace, came from a place of desperate guilt. But you cannot start a war and then ask everyone to stop once your children start burning. Meanwhile, Aegon II underwent one of the most compelling character shifts of the season. Broken, burned, and abandoned after Rook's Rest, Aegon stopped trying to be the glorious king his father wanted or the warrior his brother was. His survival instinct kicked in. His connection with Sunfire, the dragon everyone wrote off as dead, proved that Aegon's true power wasn't tactical genius but sheer, stubborn refusal to die. While Aemond burned the Riverlands in a rage, Aegon quietly prepared for his terrifying second act. And finally, we have to talk about Helaena Targaryen and her quite devastating climax at the end of this season. Throughout Season 3, Helaena served as the tragic conscience of the show while everyone around her played politics. Helaena was the only person who truly saw the timeline. Her weaving and her quite eerie prophecies weren't just eccentricities, she was living in the past, present, and future all at once, kinda like the three-eyed raven. In her final moments, as she finished weaving her spiderweb tapestry, Helaena understood the grand cosmic joke. She saw the dragon pit fall, she saw her family destroy her itself, and she saw the snows of the long night falling over a desolate Westeros centuries later. Helena's choice to step out of the window wasn't an act of madness, it was an act of final autonomy. In a world where women were used as political pawns and Targaryens were used as dragon riders, Helaena refused to let Rhaenyra or Aemond weaponize her dragon Dreamfire or her visions. Her death was the final thread snapping in King's Landing, the event that triggered the riots and signaled that the realm was truly lost. Season 3 of The House of the Dragon wasn't just a bridge to the final war, it was a masterclass in how pride, prophecy, and class neglect destroy empires from within. Rhaenyra thought she was a savior, Daemon thought he was a legend, Alicent thought she was a mother, and the Dragon Seeds thought they were gods. In the end, every single one of them was wrong. As we look towards Season 4 and the ultimate conclusion of the Dance of the Dragons, the lesson of Season 3 remains clear. When you dance with dragons, nobody wins. You just burn together. What was the biggest mistake made in Season 3 in your opinion? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep lore analysis, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a nice.
I'm alive!